Have you ever wondered if there was a way to know when a crypto crash is about to bottom out? Well, today we're diving into a powerful indicator that some of the world's top analysts swear by. One they say has an almost spooky accuracy for calling those exact moments. And guess what? It's flashing a major signal for Ethereum right now.
That's a quote from the legendary strategist Tom Lee. And he's not wrong, is he? The feeling out there is just pure fear. I mean, the market has been an absolute bloodbath. But Lee's point is fascinating. This exact environment, this moment of peak pessimism, could actually be the perfect setup for a massive, violent reversal to the upside.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're exploring today. While pretty much everyone is panicking and heading for the exits, you've got this small group of experts looking at their charts and forecasting a potential surge for Ethereum all the way to between $7,000 and $9,000. So the question is, how can they be so confident when everyone else is just so scared?
All right, let's get into it. To really understand why these experts are so optimistic, we first have to unpack the fear that's completely gripping the rest of the market.
You know, you go on social media, and it's just a wall of bearish noise. But here's what's so crucial to understand. The recent price drops, they're not happening because something is fundamentally broken with Ethereum. It's all being driven by technical stuff, like traders using way too much leverage and getting liquidated. The core story, the reason to be bullish, that hasn't changed at all.
And when you look at the data, it really backs this up. The fundamental bull case is still completely solid. The proof-of-stake narrative is going strong. You've got hundreds of millions flowing into ETFs literally every day, and over $45 billion locked in Layer 2 solutions. And get this, the supply of stablecoins, which is basically cash waiting on the sidelines, is up 15% this year. Plus, you have big players like Bitmain coming out and publicly announcing they're buying up ETH.
So, that brings us right back to our big question. What is their secret weapon? What are analysts like Tom Lee and the absolute legend Tom DeMark looking at? What indicator lets them just tune out all this fear and see what they believe is a historic buying opportunity?
Well, here's the answer. It's an indicator called the TD Sequential. It was actually created by Tom DeMark himself, and it has this incredible reputation for being one of the most precise tools in finance for nailing market turning points.
Its whole purpose, its one job, is to identify the exact point where a trend, whether it's going up or down, is just running out of gas and is super likely to reverse. It's not trying to predict how high or how low a price will go, but when it's most likely to turn around. That distinction is key.
So how does this thing actually work? I know it sounds really complex, but honestly, it boils down to two pretty simple phases.
Okay, so first you have what's called the setup phase. The indicator is basically looking for a sequence of 9 candles on a chart that fit a very specific pattern, suggesting a trend might be getting tired. Once that's complete, it starts the countdown phase, where it looks for 13 more candles to confirm that, yep, this is very likely the reversal point. And what's really cool is we can break it down into this simple cheat sheet. As you can see, you're looking for a setup, then a countdown. If you get the whole sequence for a buy, you've got a high probability bottom signal. A sell sequence, that signals a potential top. The specific rules are right there on the slide, but really the main thing to remember is that the number 13 is the magic number. That's what marks the spot.
Now this might sound like just another technical tool, right? But the reason legendary investors pay so much attention to it is its absolutely stunning real-world track record. I mean, this isn't just theory, it has a history of making calls that are almost unbelievable.
Just look at this. It's wild. It signaled the absolute bottom for Bitcoin back in December 2018 at $3,200, right before a 3,500% run-up. It nailed the COVID crash bottom in March 2020, to the day. And for Ethereum, it flashed a buy signal in November 2022 at about $1,070, the exact week of the FTX collapse, just before a 480% rally. So, what's the crucial point here? It's this. When you look at the history, a completed 13 signal on the weekly chart has a success rate of over 90% for calling major market reversals in crypto. Think about that. It is one of the most reliable signals in this entire space. So all of this brings us right here, to today. Because this isn't just a history lesson. This exact, historically accurate signal is flashing on Ethereum's chart right now. The parallel here is just striking. It's almost uncanny. In November 2022, you had extreme market panic during the FTX collapse, and the TD Sequential printed a perfect weekly buy signal. The result? A nearly 500% rally. Now fast forward to today, you have widespread fear, awful sentiment, and an identical weekly TD Sequential Buy signal has just appeared. And this is why analysts like Tom Lee are willing to make these huge calls that go against the crowd. Based on how this signal has performed over and over again, they are forecasting a rally to between $7,000 and $9,000 for Ethereum. That's a 140 to 200% move from here. And some of them see a potential path all the way to $15,000.
So that leaves us with the final million-dollar question, doesn't it? Is this indicator giving investors a backstage pass to the next major rally, just like it has so many times before? Or is this the one time it fails and this dip is actually a giant bull trap? Well, if you look at the data, history is clearly on the side of a major reversal. And now you know exactly why.